We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin.
And today, faithful acolytes, it's time for some cooking. Alright, so if you watched my Hoff Haus sauce review, it is available, by the way, in the Hot Ones playlist, and there will be a link in the description down below to the written review, which will also go to that same video. It is also in the main hot sauce playlist as well, if you care to check that out. But in that video, I was lamenting somewhat that I had not made a beer cheese with it because I thought it would be a really good addition to a beer cheese. So the more I got to thinking, the more I felt like I should do this. So we basically have 5 cheeses here. So let's go through the ingredients. We have the Hoff Haus sauce. We have a Paulaner Oktoberfest Marzen, and very delicious beer. You choose whatever you like. You can, a lot of them we use the paler beers. I like to have a little bit more body in mine. I don't necessarily want it black like a stout, but I do like the Marzen quite a bit, and I think it works really well in cheese because it's not hoppy like a lot of ambers these days tend to be, or an IPA or anything like that. It is just the right balance of body and flavor. But you can use whatever you want. Whatever beer you want, there's not any really wrong choice for that. So as far as cheeses, I'm choosing a Monterey Jack. I'm choosing a medium cheddar. And this is a mild cheddar. And I will be slicing that up a little bit. Gruyere, shredded Gruyere. And this is, we'll get into this, but this is a little bit of a cheat. This is the Fritos jalapeno cheddar cheese sauce. So we're starting with the cheese sauce, and let me just talk about that briefly. The reason I am starting with a cheese sauce is because I do not want to make a roux. The whole cooking flour and making a sort of a gravy and then adding cheese, that's not what I want to do. I want this to be strictly cheese, hot sauce, beer, and we're just going to play around with the ratios a little bit. If you have an event like the big sports game, whatever that happens to be, and you're wanting something sort of quick and easy that you can sort of do on the fly with things you may have around, obviously 5 cheeses, you may not have those around, but you know, if you happen to have some of this, or you can make a roux if you want, you know, shredded cheese in the fridge, whatever, to kind of whip something together that's a little special, especially if you're a chili head. You know, you got to have some of the hot sauce. And the ingredients in the Hoff Haus, to me, are really fascinating. And this is probably my favorite sauce from them. And I'm really, really interested to see how some of the different ingredients that are in this, the black mustard and some of the honey and chipotle, I think it's really going to come together nicely in this cheese sauce. So we're going to bust this thing open, and we're going to head on over to the stove and get cracking and see what kind of damage we can do over there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is adjust the camera. Second thing we're going to do is crack this baby open. And I like to sample it to make sure it's not poison, but this cheese sauce is only for me, so, oh, it's wonderful. So obviously if you're doing this for other people, maybe don't do that. All right, so I want to put in about 1/3 of the bottle, probably at about there. All right, so we're going to put the heat on. You can't see it from there. going to put the heat on 4. And we might need to turn that down because we don't want this to get super hot. So I'm going to let this beer warm up while I bring the rest of the ingredients over. And here's a mild cheddar. I did the best I could to try to shave it, since I can't seem to find either a bandolier or my cheese cutter. You can see we're starting to get a little bit of bubbling going on here. A little wisp of steam coming off of it. The reason we want to do this is I didn't coat the pan or anything like that, so we need to keep it relatively low so it doesn't scorch and stick to the pan. And a lot of the times, if you have to be careful buying shredded cheese, because sometimes there will be preservatives in there to keep it shredded, which I believe may be the case actually with this medium cheddar right here. But there's only a little bit in there, so we'll just see how that goes. It does melt up in the microwave for like nachos and stuff, so I'm feeling somewhat confident about it. But so the cheeses, let's talk about those real quick while we're waiting. Medium cheese is probably the hardest one. Monterey Jack, Gruyere, and this mild cheddar are fairly soft. Mild cheddar is kind of between. I see a lot of recipes where people include things like cream cheese, which no, no, we're not doing that. I don't think it would be bad or anything like that. I just don't want to do that. You can see we're getting a nice good temperature going here. Hopefully you can see the wisp of steam coming off of it. All right, so now we are going to, it smells very beery in here, try to get cheese sauce. Let me get that going here. This cheese sauce is, I'm going to be interested to see what it does here, because this cheese sauce, I like it, but it's very unstable. In that, if you don't eat it all the day you open it, it will start to immediately separate within hours of putting it back in the fridge. So we're going to see if this is going to stabilize it somewhat. I guess it won't be on camera, I'll just notice it myself. But because this is obviously going to be a lot more cheese sauce than I'll be able to consume during this video. Alright. Yes, I know this is a cheat, but you can refer back to the beginning of the video where I said I didn't want to make a roux. Taking on some very interesting color overtones now. Not very appetizing ones, if I'm being honest. Alright, let's go give this a second here to gel with the beer. And that might be why a lot of recipes say to use the roux so you can thicken it up. Alright, we're going to throw this cheese in here. Try to get that melting. Throw this medium cheddar in there as well. So we have 3 of the 5 cheeses in there with that beer. We just got to bring this up to temperature now. Havarti also works really well for this. Additionally, you can use Munster. Ah yes, getting this to melt up nicely now. Might have this temperature a touch high. That's alright though. Realistically, this cheddar I just am more including here because I want the color. I want to make sure, since I'm using actual shaved cheese there that I shave myself somewhat inconsistently, what we're going to do is to try to just make sure that it's fully melted before we start adding more. Okay. All right, we have one here, one here, one here. We have here 1 cup of Gruyere. And yep. I'll give it a lot of zip. Spread it out here so it can melt. So I chose this saucepan even though I didn't need all the space, just because I don't want to clean the stove afterwards. And some of my other pans were a little shallow. It would have fit the sauce, no problem. However, see, we're getting a little stringiness now, acting like more of a cheese sauce instead of a cheese product sauce. So far our cheat is holding. It's starting to thicken up nicely, as you can see. Oh, this Gruyere. That was a good move. Changing the color. Now it looks a lot like a cheddar. Yes. Yes, indeed. Look at this. Gorgeous. Okay. Put that aside. And time to get that Monterey Jack in there. I'm handfuls, right? I don't measure anything. I'm not gonna put the entire bag in there, I don't think, because I would have cheese sauce for days. And much as I love cheese sauce, I don't need it 4 days. Okay, let's give that a second to warm up. So one of the ways you can tell, besides the bubbling, it's getting warm enough to stir, is the cheese will go translucent. Oop, didn't like that. Might let that wait a little too long. That's all right. Yes, indeed. Beautiful. Now we just need to take down the heat to a 3. Okay, I'm going from a 4 to a 3. I got more than enough heat right now. Really what I want to do is I want uniformity of color. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just going to keep stirring until I stop having streaks in it. Okay, we're pretty close now. Alright. Yep, got a little clumpiness going on here. This is a nice cross between melted cheese and an actual cheese sauce itself. So let's give that a little taste here. Oh man. That's good. That's good. Oh, that little back current of the jalapeno cheddar in there is reading through. I hoped it would. All right. So let's start off with the dotting. Actually, in fact, we can just be done with the heat. All right. Now maybe let's put just a little bit more on. Okay, we're going to tear it down to a 2 now. We're going to get this Hoff Haus sauce going here, making this nice and beautiful. All right, let's let that sit and gel for a second. Oh my goodness, that's tremendous. We need a little bit more of it. Got that sharp bite of the Gruyere. This is really nice. This is a gourmet. Definitely not a regular cheese sauce. It's a gourmet sauce. Gourmet cheese sauce. Okay. Plenty of residual heat. go. See, I got some over the side. Even with this deeper pan. Even with me trying not to. Man. Oh well. Could be worse. Could be worse. Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at that. This is such a beautiful sauce. Not sure how stable it's going to be. We'll find that out. Well, I will. I'll find that out. I could use just a dash of this. Mmm. This smells like heaven. And the fun thing with this is, if you don't dig it, then you can always just make it again with different cheeses. All right, let's get some. I'm using exactly the wrong way of doing this, but that's all right. I will say that you don't necessarily have to, but I do suggest using the highest quality cheese you can. All right, so there we got the beer cheese here. I'm gonna let it cool for a second. Spoils of a job well done. All right. Well, I guess first things first, we're gonna bust out some jalapenos, make ourselves a little plate of nachos. I think for me, I would have probably could have used half the Gruyere. I think that would have been slightly better. It's kind of interesting though, the tones in this. You get the smokiness out of the hot sauce, of course. Alright. Alright. Need to go shopping for jalapenos again here. Usually I keep a bunch of bottles on hand because I fly through these. Probably go through a jar a week or so. Depending on the week, sometimes more. Sometimes I'll get the raw ones though, also. Okay. Get this out of here. Alright. Let's see how it does with the nacho sauce. Very nice. Lovely. But not everybody's a nacho fan. So what about some of this? How about we got a brat, a hot dog, and some pretzel sticks. Let's see how that goes. I like it better with this. Oh man, that hot sauce. Kind coming through so perfect. Man. Got just a little tinges from the Marzen. Man, that's really good. Beer, cheese, and pretzel sticks is kind of I guess it's more of a restaurant staple now. See a lot, especially in brew pubs. They almost always, well, actually, I would say they a lot of times fail on both, but getting a little skim, but you can see it still dips really well. Putting the beer in right at the finish, I think, was the good move there. All right, hot dog or brat first? Cheese brat or cheese dog? Well, this is a beer brat too. Let's save that for last. Let's do the hot dog. This is a Nathan's. The chips were Santitas, if anybody is interested in that. And of course, the jalapenos were La Caseña. I do like La Victorias a lot as well, I will say. My favorite ones, though, lately are the store brand of a local grocery store, because those come in actual somewhat spice to them. Most of the other ones are really tame, including those. It's excellent on this hot dog. That Hoff sauce is definitely the way to go. That's really all weather excellence with that thing. Goodness. That is. It looks a bit like melted cheese, but you can see it's still sauce. It's really good. Nice, fresh, soft bakery hot dog buns. We're gonna skip that part of the bun though, because I'm getting full. We still got this brat to go. Oh man. Oh man. That and that brat. This isn't even a good brat. This is just a grocery store brat. Get rid of some of that bun. I gotta give myself an ending point here. I'm full. That's a lot of food. But that's that's what parties are for, right? Get-togethers are for overeating, wherever the occasion. Yeah. So I would say, for me, the next time I make this, I am going to cut the Gruyere in half. Gruyere is a little bit too forceful. Everything else, though, is really good. I'm not dissatisfied in any way with this. Man, nap after this. All right. That was the Hoff Haus beer cheese. Like I said, a little bit heavy on the Gruyere, but outside of that, it really came together nicely. Definitely the ticket there. The Marzen, Oktoberfest Marzen from Paulaner. Outstanding beer. Definitely a good one to go with. Nachos, I thought it was okay. It's not really very nacho oriented, if I'm honest. Definitely worked a lot better with the Hoff Haus sauce where it works better. So things like brats. The hot dog was spectacular. The pretzel sticks was just magnifique. So really, really, really good. But like I said, you can vary the cheeses as well if you decide to make this yourself. But definitely that is a fun thing to play around with, the Hoff Haus and of course that Marzen over there. So I encourage you guys to do that. If you come up with something really good, let me know. I would be interested in hearing that. And who knows? Maybe I'll make it again in the future. I'll do different types of cheese. Maybe a type B. This could be type A. That would be type B. I don't know. We'll see. 2.0, 3. Whatever. But it was a lot of fun and really, really good. The heat is really, really minimal, but it added a nice little bit of smoke to things. And it was just, that is a tremendous sauce. That Hoff Haus is just excellent. No question about that. So, but anyway, there was the Hoff Haus beer cheese creation. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.